That's a perfect opening if I ever saw one right there, boys and girls. Execution beyond. So I was going to come out and say math is hard, but apparently mouse clicking is more difficult.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh, I didn't know this was a setup. Math is hard with us not being on the screen.
Yes, actually using the mouse is harder, apparently. And I've done it only like 500,000 times. But would you say, Sean, math is hard? Some math is hard, right?
Numbers are one thing that I've always been natural to me. So, I mean, a lot of people get intimidated with it and just not good with it. And I'm one, you ask me what side's north, south, that kind of stuff, or you tell me directions, I can't do any of it, but you talk numbers, I'm good. So it's not hard for me, but it's hard for 95% of the world.
What's happening, Drew? Good to have you back. You asked us yesterday which two teams we thought would win. Sean gave you Detroit. His was a lot easier than my Oakland pick, but they both came through in the end. But anyway, back to math is hard. I know for somebody, math is extremely difficult. You know who that person is, Sean?
I do not.
I think if you really thought about it, you'd probably guess this one right away. But it is Dennis Schrader.
I saw this, yeah.
What the? So you got $84 million offered to you by the LA Lakers, and instead you signed for $5.9 million. I mean, usually math is hard, but that kind of math is easy.
Yeah, and this is probably an agent thing too. An agent is in his ear telling him how much money he's going to make, and he totally screwed this one up.
Yeah,
this
picture is perfect.
You probably get a championship too with the Lakers. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might get a championship. Yeah.
I don't know if LeBron can make it a whole season anymore. And Anthony Davis has never been able to make it a whole season without getting hurt. He's fragile.
Yeah, but you would be in a better situation all the way around.
Yeah, probably. I would agree with you. But 100% math is hard, particularly for Dennis Schrader. So we'll see if math is hard today in terms of our baseball picks. I mean, because everything I do for the most part, well, I wouldn't say everything I do. In the beginning, it's all quantitative for me. It's all math-based inside of Excel. I've got more Excel sheets than an accountant, according to I Love Carly. But at the same time, he can't believe the Rangers lost to the Mariners. Yeah, me either. I mean, beat them, but maybe they won't today. We'll see. But math is everything I do in the beginning part, and then I go back and do the quantitative research, the qualitative afterwards. And I double check what my math says based upon performance, and then a little bit of intuition, and then, of course, you have the trend. So let's get cracking with baseball today, Sean. Let's see if there's anything on the board that you like. Today is one of those days that you come into it, it's a full card, and then you start digging through it, particularly on the math side of things. And I pretty much don't like today at all. Two reluctant picks today for me.
You know what? Then maybe I should follow, was it Monday we had a light card and you said it was better to stay away. You were right about that because then I was 0 for 2. And then yesterday you said there was a ton of card and, but there wasn't a lot good out there. And I didn't do good yesterday neither. So maybe I should just not play today.
No, well, like I said, there was two games I was comfortable with yesterday, Oakland and Detroit. Oakland made it more difficult than they needed to because the starting pitcher, Meneses, didn't have his stuff, apparently, and he left after 3 innings, and then bullpen came in, got it under control, scored late in the game, and went ahead and got the W. So I ended up going 2-0 yesterday, which puts me up over, I'm over like 11, 12% positive ROI right now. Sean's going to catch up shortly. So let's get cracking with the baseball games today. St. Louis and Pittsburgh, Sean, anything that you like in the Cardinals versus the Bucks matchup?
It was tempting to go to the Cardinals here with rain rate, but Cardinals is just not a team I can trust at the -165 money line.
Well, it looks like the tickets are about 84%, 85% on the Cardinals, but only a little less than 80 cents on the Cardinals. So the public is heavy on the Cardinals, but it looks like some of the smart money, so to speak, or the sharps, whatever you want to call them, they're fading the Cardinals a bit and picking up some tickets on Pittsburgh. This is a game I wanted to take the Cardinals as well. However, Pittsburgh actually has the run differential advantage. They score more runs at home versus what they allow than St. Louis. So I can't step in that game whatsoever at all. Whenever I get those kind of mixed signals, I can't take a favorite that scores less runs than the team that they're playing with on average. I mean, from game to game, of course, it's different. LA Dodgers and Philadelphia at -40. The Dodgers, to me, were another one of those situations where I wanted to get on the Dodgers. And then I went through the math, and Philadelphia has the power ranking advantage. I mean, the reality is Philadelphia is playing better over the last 10 games than the Dodgers probably have.
Yeah, I mean, they laid an egg yesterday, but this is one of my plays. I'm going to take the Phillies plus 120. Kyle Gibson's pitching. He was a big acquisition at the trade deadline. He's been pitching good. And I think they have the advantage here, and they'll bounce back from the, 6-0 loss or whatever it was yesterday.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how they lose, unless you're on the run line, right?
Yeah.
Just as long as they I don't really pay attention to the score. I just keep track of wins and losses. That's it, because it's all that matters, right? I look at my bank account. It doesn't matter how many I won by. It just goes up by what I bet. Yeah, so looking at the math, looking at the public, the public is they're backing the Dodgers. 54% of the tickets are on the Dodgers, but almost 60 cents on the dollar on the Phillies. So the smart money is coming in, putting some dollars on the Philadelphia. They agree with you. They feel like David Price might get roughed up a little bit in Philadelphia tonight.
Yeah, I think Phillies will have more success against him than the Dodgers will, Gibson.
So if you look at that game again, Philadelphia has the power ranking advantage. The Dodgers have the ability to score runs advantage. I can't when they don't match up for me. I can't take it, so I have to pass. Detroit and Baltimore. Man, I wanted to jump on Detroit again here, but I couldn't jump on them when I looked at the pitching matchup.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take another plus money line here. I'm gonna go Baltimore with Matt Harvey. I know he did give up some runs last start, but before that he was, he wasn't giving up any runs for like 17 innings.
Maybe you're staying in at night because he does have a history of going out at night.
One of those games was in Detroit, where Detroit's offense is even better than on the road, and he shut them down. So, and Tariq Scoble, he gave up like 4 runs in that game against Baltimore. So I like Baltimore here with the even money.
You like Baltimore with the even money. Well, I don't see any numbers on this game. For some reason, there's not showing the here it is. Never mind. It was all the way at the top. So the Tigers, Sean, are taking 74% of the tickets and 74% of the money. 3 out of every, 3/4 out of 4 of the dollar is going to the Tigers. When I look at the breakdown again, though, Detroit has the power ranking advantage and they have the scoring advantage. The pitching advantage is 50-50. So I'll give you moral support, but I cannot back either side of this game tonight. Tampa Bay I skipped the game. Oakland versus Cleveland, Sean. Are you going to jump on the Oakland train considering Cleveland finds a way to lose to teams with winning records?
No, but I did look at this multiple times today. They're right on that fringe. I see minus 155 now. I think earlier in the day they were cheaper. I would expect Oakland to win, but I'm gonna too big of a price to pay on this one. I kind of have the same thoughts I had yesterday, where Cleveland's offense is getting better, and they've been, and Oakland ain't always, their offense is starting to struggle a little bit too. So,
well, I think when you look at their lineups, neither team is got great hitters. I mean, there's a bunch of 240s in their lineup, no question about it. But Oakland finds a way to win. This is something I've said for a long time in my life. Good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. I'm not saying Cleveland's a bad team. I'm saying Oakland is a better team. They just find ways to win, and I feel like they're going to find a way to win tonight. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. This might be one that you want to do the under on if you do like one of those in-game parlays like you like to do, Sean. I don't like to do the totals. But when you look at this game, Montas has pitched, I think, 7 times versus Cleveland. He's got a 2.86 ERA, even better, 3 games at Progressive Field with that ERA at 1.86. And then Quantrill has only pitched once against the Oakland A's, pitched exceptionally well against them too. So I'm expecting a repeat of yesterday. I think it's will be a close-scoring game till the later innings. Cleveland's bullpen will come in. The quality will shine for Oakland, and Oakland will win a game at the end of the game again. So I can get minus 147. I'm going to up my bets to $28, Sean. Okay. So $28 on the Oakland A's at minus 147 to make it 2 in a row in Cleveland. And if I take money out of this series 2 nights in a row, I'm done no matter what the line looks like tomorrow.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like the Yankees are beating up on Kansas City. That would be 3 out of 4 in the series. And the only time I took the Yankees is the time they lost in the series. That's one thing too. That's another reason I'm staying away from Oakland. I missed them out yesterday. As soon as I jump on that Oakland bandwagon, Cleveland's going to win. So I'll stay away.
And Drew mentions he's got Houston right now laying 1.5. That score has moved out to 5-1, so it's getting a little bit better for you. And Colorado is really pretty bad on the road. We'll talk a little bit about how bad teams on the road in a few more minutes. Tampa Bay and Boston. Last night, Tampa Bay at a plus line came through, Sean, and I don't think either one of us were on there.
No, you really were talking. I was on Boston, and they were up, 4-1 or something like that, and they blew it, and you said you would have went the other way with Tampa. And this is another one, and I'm going to stay away again. This is another one. I might do it on my personal account. This is another one. I want to go Tampa, but I feel like it's that whole made-up thing. I lost out on them yesterday, so I'll go for them.
So you're going to go chasing, huh?
Yeah, so I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to stay away. But I think Tampa Bay's your play here.
Well, the tickets are slightly in favor of Tampa Bay. The money is slightly in favor of Boston, so it's a flip of the coin. When it's a flip of the coin, then you want to take the team with the plus line. Tampa is catching a plus line. They do have the run line advantage, the run differential advantage, and they have the power ranking advantage. And according to my simulations, they would win this game probably 55 times out of 100. So I agree with you. The numbers tilt towards Tampa Bay. I'm just not getting enough value in the pitching matchup between the two pitchers. Actually, Evaldi ranks much higher than Fleming, and because of that, some advanced metrics, I moved on. So Washington against the New York Mets. It looked like I saw earlier that Joe Ross is going to pitch. Is that true? Untrue? Do you know?
Yeah, that's what I have listed here, yeah.
So Ross versus Stroman. Everybody thinks the Stroman guy, because he got off to a hot start, is a very good pitcher. Again, looking at advanced metrics, Ross ranks considerably higher than Stroman. Stroman is just a run-of-the-mill pitcher. I don't know why the Mets paid so much for him. So I couldn't take this side of the game. I thought early on maybe the Mets would be a decent run line opportunity against a AAA Washington team. In 7 innings, you're going to get like plus 125. And then when I saw how poorly Stroman ranks, and then I remember him walking off the field after starting a fight, running as if he ate something that didn't agree with him.
Yeah, so DraftKings, it lists Joe Ross. MLB, it doesn't list anybody. I don't trust the Mets here, and I also don't want to take the AAA Washington team, so I would stay up. Plus, it's a doubleheader game. There's nothing here that I want a part of.
Yeah, like I said, I was thinking the Mets, and then I saw how poorly that Stroman ranks, and then Ross ranked higher. That is the listed pitcher for right now. I'm not on that game. Cincinnati Reds against Atlanta. Touki Toussaint got off to a blazing hot start. Not been so well in the last couple starts. Did okay last time out. Versus Wade Miley. This is a game that I thought maybe I might want to jump on Cincinnati for the rebound, getting a plus line. And then I went ahead and looked at my numbers. And when you look at that, Atlanta has the power ranking advantage and a considerable run scoring advantage at home. But I'm not getting enough value in it because the Cincinnati team actually has a higher win percentage on the road than the Braves do at home.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away, but this is one I would think if you're betting, you got to take the Reds here with Miley over Toussaint. The only thing is the Reds are up and down, and they've been last couple games now they've been struggling, so you want to get them while they're hot, and they're not really that hot right now. No,
their bats are kind of cold. Most of the tickets agree with you, Sean. 2/3 of the tickets are on Cincinnati, but the majority of the money is on the Atlanta Braves. So looks like the Sharps are sniffing out the Braves as a winner with Touki Toussaint, my favorite name in baseball now. Milwaukee and the Cubs. I'm just not even going to bother with this one. I looked at the run line. So if you take Milwaukee minus 1.5, it's minus 165. Yeah, I got a better bet with Oakland.
Yeah, that's crazy, but that's the tales of the two teams and the pitching matchup with Jake Arrieta versus Barnes. So I couldn't do either way. This is one you throw Milwaukee on your parlay and be done with it.
Is there like a run line for Arrieta, how many runs he's going to give up? You remember the last time, I think it might have been the last time he pitched against Milwaukee, Cubs were winning 7-0. And then by the time they got out of the fourth inning, they were down like 14-7. It was the first time, I think, in MLB history that both teams in the course of the first 4 innings had a 7-run lead.
So what you can do is you can take Milwaukee team total over 6.5 for plus 105.
For the team total for the whole night?
Yeah. 7
plus
runs.
105?
Plus 105. They need to get the 7 runs.
Woo. It's kind of hot and humid in Chicago. Arrieta, I think that's I don't like doing stuff like that, but I think that's what I'm going to do on my own account because it's hot here tonight. It's humid here tonight. It's windy because there's a lot of like thunderstorm and tornado warnings and stuff. So that wind is blowing pretty hard. If they actually play, they may not play, but if they actually play, pop-ups are going to leave Wrigley. So I think that 6.5 from Milwaukee could be money in the bank, to use a WWE term for those of you who like.
And to tell you how lopsided, they're giving you the Cubs over 3.5 or under 3.5.
Yeah, well, they probably go under 3.5. But with this wind, if they play with the humidity, the heat, the wind, I think the Cubs could score 4. Arizona versus San Francisco. Again, another one of those lines that I just can't entertain.
Yeah, same for me. And San Fran, talk about blowing leads. They were up 5-0 going into the 6th inning, and they give up 5 runs, and then they had to win in extras. This is one I'm just throwing on a personal parlay, taking San Fran, but I'm not touching it any other way.
Not going to go with it any other way. Oh, that's understandable. Finally, Texas versus Seattle. Spencer Howard versus Tyler Anderson. Sean, any way you're going to go here?
No, I'm going to pass on this game. And another example, I did give out that stat yesterday that Seattle as a favorite was only like 9-11 or whatever. Now you can add another loss, so you're 9-12. They're one of those teams. They thrive in that underdog role.
Can't win as a front runner, huh?
Yeah, they like to be the underdog. Don't give them the title as a favorite.
Well, we're going to change that tonight, Sean.
Uh-oh.
We're going to take Seattle, and we're going to give up the 1.5. I'm getting, Seattle minus 1.5. I can do that for plus 102. Plus 102. So I'm taking Seattle minus 1.5 runs for plus 102. The Rangers so they won one last night on the road, okay? That added to their total from 13 to make them tied with Colorado as the worst team in baseball, to 1 game better than Colorado on the road, tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that's the kind of company the Texas Rangers are keeping on the road. Tyler Anderson, the pitcher for Seattle, is much better at home. He's got a 3.31 ERA at home. His ERA is 3.14 against the Texans in 3 lifetime starts. So I think what's going to happen here is you're going to see Seattle bounce back. I'm going to finally get on one of those teams that I tend to do poorly with, but I'm going to take Seattle, give up the 1.5 because I can't see Texas winning 2 in a row when they've only won 14 on the road all year.
The only, besides Seattle being a favorite, that's a concerning stat. The other one is Texas has 19 of their 40 wins comes against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, they got more losses than wins against lefties.
Yeah, they're almost a 500 club, though, when it comes to lefties versus righties, where they're 21-51. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, Spencer Howard has got like a super high ERA on the road too, so I feel good about my bet, Sean. You're not going to talk me out. I'm in.
Oh no, you made it official already, so it's good.
I guess again, $28 again on that. It's my official bet, so I'm up in my total because I'm a positive ROI, and once I hit 10% ROI, I up my ante a little bit. Hey, William Phillips, good to see you here, my man. Let other folks that you know about us. Finally, we're going to go into some golf today. Do you guys like golf? Well, we should like golf because every week we put some players out there. And last week we gave you Abraham Answer as a top 20. I don't like to pick winners because in golf that's impossible. But what I like to try to do is find guys that can either make it to the top 20 or in the top 40 and still yet produce a plus line. So that way, if I'm half right, then I'll collect money, which has been kind of how it's worked out. Right, Sean?
Yeah, you've been pretty good on these golf bets.
All right, so I got 6 of them today. So let's start with guys I think that can make the top 20 that have plus lines. Russell Henley is plus 120 to make the top 20. He's one of the guys that's performed exceptionally well at this tournament. I think he's made the cut twice out of 2 out of the last 2 years. Placed in the top 20 both times. And then he also, when I do my rankings, he has one of the best score to par projections for this tournament. The other top 20 bet I have here is I don't have any more top 20. The rest are top 40. This is pretty good because you only just got to make the cut and you pretty much have a pretty good shot of making the top 20. So Bryce Garnett plus 220 to make the top 40. Ryan Armour, the guy's made the cut 3 years in a row. Top 40, one of the few players that's actually done that. Top 40 plus 160. And now we're going to get into some prices. Bo Hoag, Hoag, top 40, 220. Matt Naismith, plus 300 to make the top 40. And if this guy hits and he's made the cut the last 2 times he's played here, he's a little older guy. I usually don't like to take the older guys because their nerve kind of goes away at the end of their career. But Josh Teeter has made the cut 2 out of the last 3 at plus 700. If Josh makes it to the top 40, the rest of them can lose, and I still walk away a winner.
Wow.
What do you think about that, Sean?
That's good value for the top 40. How many players are in this one?
It's a full field, so I think they top 67 make the cut. So if you make the cut, you have a really good chance to be a top 40 player. You have a 66% chance if you make the cut to be in the top 40 roughly, right? So 2 out of 3. So I go through a lot of metrics that I read from some guy. It always amazes me what college people get grants for. Some dude got a grant from like Stanford or Harvard or one of those, high-end schools that I could never get into unless I had a friend there and I wanted to spend the night or something back in the day. But they get grants to study crazy things like horse racing, sports betting. And one guy, PhD, studied golf. And he came up with like the 7 things that determine how well a guy is going to play at a particular tournament. So I made an Excel sheet because I do that more than an accountant. I follow it, and I do exceptionally well with it. As you've seen, we're up, 780 in the first 3 weeks. We're plus 780. So hopefully at the end of this week, we can get over plus 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, then we'll just make a show about golf the way
That's it.
We're rolling.
We just show up on Wednesdays and go home.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I've been doing well enough at baseball. I don't mind doing baseball. And the NFL is coming to college football. When college football comes, you guys definitely want to tell your friends about us on Facebook, Twitter, however it is you communicate. I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve that I've learned in the last few years, especially early on in the season, that'll help us identify some overs that hit like they don't always hit. I mean, if anything was perfect, nobody would be around telling you about it. But they hit at a very high rate, especially early in the season. It kind of wanes a little bit, but still stays above 50% throughout the course of the year. So you guys want to stick around and make sure you catch that on our college football scoreboards when we do that. And then the NFL, of course, it's the toughest one of all, but we do well there too.
Yeah, and I just love talking football, and it'll be football season before we know it here. I'm going to actually look at the preseason tomorrow and see if I can find anything.
Hey, we'll find. So, all right, Drew, really real quick. So I have in the top 20, Russell Henley, plus 120. And then in the top 40, Bryce Garnett, top 40, plus 220. We have Ryan Armour, plus 160 for the top 40. Matt Naismith is plus 300 for the top 40. Josh Teeter, plus 700. That's the one I'm hoping comes in, because if the rest don't come in, that still puts me in the plus for the weekend. And Bo Hoag, Hoag, plus 220. They all rank very high in my scoring system, and they all played very well at the course. So they're horses for the course that rank well, and should hopefully, if I can hit 3 of them, it'll be a very profitable weekend. And that's it, Sean. Anything else you want to add? I mean, you want to try doing math like Dennis Schrader right now?
I'm going to be on the right side of the math, and we're going to do that. I'll take the 80 million.
If there's ever a day in my life.
You know what? I could even screw that up right now. I'll take the 5 million.
You probably would. For me, if I ever have a conversation where anybody comes to me ever and says, "Hey, Rich, put your name here and you get $84 million over the next 4 years," I'll be like, dude, can I sign with both hands? Done.
I'm not even asking questions or sign. I'm just signing.
All right, Sean. Well, that's it, man. Hopefully, why don't you rehash your baseball picks real quick?
I have the Phillies plus 120 over the Dodgers and Baltimore plus 100 versus Detroit. So I'm taking 2 plus lines here.
I have the Orioles. I'm not the Orioles. I have the A's on the money line, and then I have the Mariners on the run line. And I'm really, really tempted to go over 6.5 with Milwaukee against the Chicago Cubs tonight if they play. All right, Sean, we'll see you in 23 hours and 30 minutes. Till then, everybody, hopefully all your tickets are winners.